Welcome to another episode of Real BMX Racing, the podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by Wrenchman Wheel Builds, Wrenchman Racing, Recycles Bike Shop, 110% Nutrition, Extreme Squared, Artistic Apparel, 80 Blocks, with a special shout out to Box Components, Toby Henderson. Today we have a really special guest. We have USA BMX's women's pro rider, Elida Beeman. So let's go from the beginning. When did you start racing?
I started racing in 2006. I used to race my cousins down the street with our old mountain bikes. And my next door neighbor, I started going to kindergarten with. And so when we went into first grade, his dad actually asked me if I wanted to go watch him race. I said, sure. So we went up to Lansing, or Capital City Family BMX, which it is now. And from there, I watched him fall the first time. So I don't know how I actually felt about that. So then from the next time I went out there, and instantly I fell in love. And from here, how many years now? 17 years later, here we are.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. With racing, how do you feel like it helps you with your mental strengths? Like, how do you prepare mentally to go into these races?
Well, recently, like the past year, I struggled with anxiety, depression for that matter. So it's always been quite a bit of struggle, but lately I've kind of someone told me at the end of the day, when you show up to that race, you either show up as you are, or you kind of put yourself back there. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what percentage you may be at that race, you got to give it your all. No matter if you're 70%, you will make it that 100% if you choose to. So that's kind of what I've been thinking lately. You know, that's kind of the mindset I've been going to. I've been putting in the work. I know what I'm capable of. Mm-hmm. I just got to take that deep breath, relax, and know that I'm capable of all things, and just reminding myself each time that I go in that gate. I always say to myself, I can do this, I will do this, and I take a deep breath. And then from there, I have to go. My back's against the wall and I have nothing to do but go forward.
That's an awesome mindset right there. I like that.
Thank you.
When did you start getting coaching? You know, when did you realize this is something I need to take serious? I'm going to get a coach or start training and getting in the gym. And
I believe so. I actually never started going to the gym until I entered my first year of college. Okay. Believe that or not. So I didn't start going to the gym until 2016. Okay. And I was 18 years old then. But the first time I ever considered training was the first time that I went to the Olympic Training Center and was coached by Ariel Martin and James Herrera. And they kind of they liked how I jumped, but they obviously I wasn't, the fastest or strongest. So they were like, you have all the skills. That's the hardest thing to grab. But from here, you need to do this. And so kind of slowly got into it. And then from here, I think the gym is probably my favorite thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Like seeing those gains, huh?
Excuse me?
You like seeing those gains, huh?
Yeah, before Grands last year, I lost 20 pounds, 20 pounds in total, whether that be muscle or fat. And so it was really hard seeing your weight go down and lifting. I was going from they were dropping significantly, 20 pounds by week. And I was like, this is insane. So now gaining weight and seeing my weights go back up, that's also a nice confidence build, outside of, training or riding on your bike.
And how were you able to do that? Being that you probably ride so much and train so much, how do you find, how do you keep the weight on? This is personally for me, I'm trying to keep weight on and I can't because I'm just moving so much. I
recently started taking creatine and whey, protein. Okay. But outside of that, it's just you have to find stability in eating. So I work nights. So I work 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Okay. So in the morning, I wake up from 7 to 8 a.m. I eat my breakfast. I go to the gym. I afterwards, I'll have my whey protein shake. I'll eat lunch. And then I have to do sprints or something for that matter. And then I try to it's hard to find time to eat, but okay. I try to find some small snacks. And I find those smoothies really easy, or oatmeal or something for that matter.
Got you.
Okay. What so I said you have a job. So what exactly do you do?
So I work for Peckham. It's out for the Department of State here in Michigan. So I work for people that also like who want to find jobs that have disabilities, for that matter, rehabilitation, and I also do like the National Passport Information Center.
Oh,
So anybody for that matter who wants to try and get their passport as well.
oh, okay, that's cool. That's interesting. So I'm gonna say, like, some people think that they do odd jobs off the side, but man, that sounds definitely like a straightforward career type move right there. Like it's yeah, that's pretty cool.
They've been pretty lenient with me with going like traveling and stuff for that matter for BMX, so I can't complain.
Do you train differently going into Grands than you would any other national?
Into Grands, yes. Grands, so Michigan or in the East Coast for that matter, everyone knows the weather is terrible. Finding time to ride is difficult. So that's also like a mental toll on you. You have to find time to, travel to like say for instance, steel wheels, or if you get to ride, if it's 30 degrees, you have to ride. So I try to find the most track time before Grands. I try to find the most sprints because so last year before Grands, a lot of what I did was flat pedal, flat ground sprints, and flat pedal uphill sprints, just to gain power and out of the gate. Outside of that, I just, like I mentioned, just trying to find as much track time as I can. My track speed's fine, but like I mentioned, power and speed out of the gate is what I try to work on consistently so much.
I was gonna say, go ahead, Shannon.
When you're on the gate, do you watch the light or do you listen for the beat?
I watch the light. Yeah.
Have you ever just listened for the beat and then switched over to watching the light?
No, okay. I don't think I ever have. If there's like no lights at the gate, then I kind of have to go based off the beep. But outside of that, no, I don't think I have.
Okay.
Do you do like a systems check when you're in the gate? Like, make sure like when you pull up, my feet got to be lined up a certain way. Let me count down, like a ritual type thing.
I'm very superstitious, actually. It sounds really bad. But usually I listen to like the same song for the weekend. I do right before left, and then naturally like everything right before left, right glove, left shoe, or right glove, right shoe, left shoe, for that matter. And then in the gate, like I said, I mentioned, I can do this, I will do this. And one of my old teammates, he actually taught me like some breathing meditation, Emilio Fala. He taught me like how to like take deep breaths in before your gate. But outside of that, I don't think anything like, big, significant that I would, if I missed it, I would feel, bad.
So another personal question I have, do you hit the jumps with the same foot forward as the foot forward that you have in your start?
Yes. So I'm right foot dominant.
Okay.
So I do right gate or right foot forward in the gate and right foot forward when I jump.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I gotta ask. So what's the song do we listen to before the races? Like, what's that song?
So for the longest time, for probably 3 years, it was "Unforgettable" by French Montana. But right now, it is either "The Color Violet" or "Georgia Peaches" by Mira Fontaine. But they're different. They're different type songs. They're not like something that'll get you in race mode, I guess.
Right. It's just something to kind of help you get into
Yeah.
your zone.
Yeah.
I got you. I was talking to this one celebrity, and I told her, I'm like, look, I'm pretty much a chicken of everything, and the one thing I won't do is I won't fly. Right, I'm scared to fly anywhere. And I was talking to her online, and she was like, I don't really like to fly, but I always have this thing in my mind that I have to listen to Britney Spears when I fly because I always feel like I can't die listening to Britney Spears. So she goes with that. So that way she's like, I listen to Britney Spears when I'm flying. So that way I know I won't die listening to Britney Spears. Like that's just it's not gonna happen.
I completely agree. Like a lot of the times I dance up or sing up at the top of the hill, and like the girls usually look at me or laugh, and I'm like, I can't sit there and like just be so focused on the race. I feel like when you think so much or you think so far ahead about like the race that's in front of you, you mess up before you get there. Yeah. I feel like you need to enjoy that present moment. You need to have fun. Let those nerves out, and then when you get in that gate, then you set it. Don't think about something before you get there. Odds of you messing up before you get there probably high.
I do the same thing, but everybody around me looks at me like I'm weird, and I could tell it bothers some of them. Like
Yeah.
they're in this like I'm so focused, I'm trying to like mentally prepare, bro. Like, don't buy, and I'm over there dancing, I'm singing, I'm messing with the kids, it's just like I'm having fun,
Yes,
Especially for
yes.
the old guys, like it ain't that serious, but some of these
Right.
guys are like, a little intense, a little
Yes, yes.
funny.
Yeah,
No.
I'm the opposite. I like to relax. So when I get up there, like when I'm waiting and staging or before, I just go like limp and just let my body relax. And everyone else just looks at me like you're about to fall asleep. Are you sure you're ready to race? And I just look at them like, yeah, oh yeah. I'm just putting it in neutral until it's time to go. Like, I'm good.
No.
So, but when one question I want to ask that I haven't asked anybody yet is, once that gate drops, does the world go silent to you, or does your hearing intensify and you can hear everything going on around you?
I can't hear the people per se, but I can, like, you can sense or hear the people coming up on you, or even when you're next to somebody. I don't know if that makes sense for that matter, but like when I'm like leaving the gate, I can see like the girls in the peripheral, like either their shadow or for something for that matter, um, or I can hear. A lot of times they have Onyx hubs, but if they have like louder hubs, you can hear them sometimes approaching you. So you kind of can guide where you go for that matter, or if you're going to the inside outside. But outside of that, I can't hear anything.
So you don't listen to the announcer. You can't hear the announcer. All right.
No, no. My dad's like, "Did you hear them?" I'm like, "No," but yeah, maybe I should start listening.
I'm like, well, sometimes I can hear people cheering my name, and then sometimes I can't. Like, you'll finish and you'll be like, "Did you hear me cheer for you?" Yeah, sure, I did. And then sometimes I actually can hear them, and when I feel like I can hear them, I probably wasn't trying as hard because I'm totally taking in all that sound. Like, yeah, go me.
Worrying about not dying before you get to the finish line, the
Yes.
main concern.
Yes. I got blown out one race so bad that I literally sat down on the last straight, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm racing." So I had to stand back up because I was there like, "Man, if you sit down that far back, they look at you as it's disrespectful." And I was like, "No, I just totally forgot I was so far behind that I totally forgot I was racing. I started shutting it down." Way ahead to,
It's like, "I'll see you guys later. I'll see you at the
right,
finish line."
right.
Okay.
Like, I'll see you next year. I'll see you next round. So
Have you ever had any like significant injuries?
Yes, I've had. In 2015, I was at South Park, and I went for the pro section, and I cleared it twice, and then I went for it the third time, and I came up short, and I broke my clavicle in two places. So in this clavicle, I have a plate and 7 screws, and then in 2018, I was elite. That was the first year I had went elite, and I fell in Atlanta with another girl in the second turn in our last round. We still made the final, but I had the helmet that I had, I could press my finger through the hole, like the carbon was destroyed, everything. And from there, I was trying to race, and I knew that I had a concussion. And each time, as time went past, like I could feel, I would get nauseous. I'd want to throw up. I couldn't even go up one lap. I'm concerned. I don't know what this is, but I'd keep trying to push. And I was like, maybe this is just something light. And I raced my last race at South Park again for my last pro race. And after one of the laps, I went up to my old team manager on running, Glenn Napper, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And my eyes started flashing like really fast, like blinking really fast, and I couldn't see anything. And I collapsed into his arms. And he's like, "What's going on?" I was like, I don't know. Like this, you probably have as much like information as I do. So after that race, I went to a concussion specialist, the MSU sports specialist here, and I found out that I had where your brain and your eyes are out of sync, which is vertigo. And from there, I hated everything that I was doing with my life. It lasted for 9 months. Wow. 9 months. And I raced my first race back as a collegiate race for mountain bikes. But during that time period, I think I hit the lowest part of my life. I got into things I shouldn't have. I was talking about this on the podcast with All Things BMX, and like I was doing things so that way I could feel nothing, because when I went to the track, the thing that I loved most, I hated it. And so for like 3 years, I contemplated on whether or not I was going to come back into racing. Mm-hmm. And it was like the hardest battle of that mental thing of people are going to judge you if I race amateur and win, and people are going to judge me if I race pro and lose. So it was whether or not I had to choose what would make me happy. And so Dave from Bombshell realistically saved my life and got me to race amateur. And I raced amateur for the full year, and I won grands, and then I turned back elite. And I think I needed that confidence, or everybody needs that, something like that for that matter, just in order to remind you why you fell in love with the sport. But I think that was my biggest injury for many reasons outside of the actual injury, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, that answered my next question too, because I was gonna say, what happened to you in 2020? Is it 2021 and 2020? I couldn't find you on the points scale. I was like, well, I wonder where she went that year. So you took a little time off from the injury and then raced amateur on your comeback.
Yes.
Just to be like, yeah, I still got this.
No, I wanted to race pro, but I knew I wasn't fast enough, and I just wanted to have the confidence again to go out there to race what I knew I was capable of again. And I think that was just that little step for me. And I have a friend of mine, I think, who's in the same boat right now.
Honestly, I feel like that's sorry I mixed up where you're telling me now, Shannon, but honestly, I feel like as a testimony, that is a major thing, because we all go through something and you never realize how much that next person is going through the same thing that you just got over. So to be there for that person to be like, look, follow me. Like, like when you clear your double, follow me. I got you. Just keep up with it. I'll get you over it. Like that's why I like, BMX and life so much, and talking to you guys about where your guys' mental focus is because it's the little things that you saved this person from that person saved you from this. Like it goes hand in hand in the sport. That makes it so awesome to me. And like I've been out of the sport for 30 something years. I wasn't all great at it, and I just rode when I was a kid, and COVID brought me back into the sport. And like with Shannon, I linked up with Shannon from racing, and literally he's almost like a brother I didn't even know I had. We're just so in tune with each other on how much stuff we got, which is why we started the podcast. So to hear you say like, yeah, I did this and how it affected you, and to show people that I'm just as human as everybody else. We all do these things. And I was going to ask you the one track that you crashed at and that you remember that, have you gone back to that track and conquered it? Not yet.
No, I've never had anybody ask me that.
So I broke my ribs at Burlington maybe a year and a half ago or something like that. And then they had the national at that track, like literally the next year. So I went back there and I was way in the back. I wasn't close to anybody that track, but everybody was just like, how'd you do it? And I said, honestly, I won, because to me, it was the mental hurdle of going back to that track and passing that turn where I fell. And yeah, no, I didn't go nowhere near full speed or anything, but that track freaked me out so bad that I was just like, I can't pedal when I go, on this section, which basically makes me useless at this track.
Yeah.
So is that something that you want to put on your list sometime in the future?
Yes, I would love to, because South Park I've conquered. I've went back and raced multiple times. I still haven't done the pro set, but I will this year. It's Powder Springs is where I destroyed my helmet and everything, but I don't think there has been a pro race there yet. So I haven't went back for that matter, but I would love to, because, excuse me, sorry. I do believe in conquering those fears again. Everything that once broke me, I'd love to conquer. Racing Supercross was one thing this year that I had to reconquer again. My whole life I've been known for jumping. Al Roybal used to call me the jumping shrimp. I used to have all these small names. I used to have like the brat doll Jasmine. But those during those years, all I ever did was jump. I couldn't manual because I was so small. So everybody knew me for jumping. And last year, I rolled a Supercross hill for the first time ever. And that was something that I've never done. And I don't think people know that mental toll, but you have when you get up on that hill. That hill's, it might seem easy, but when you're sitting up there with so many other people, for that matter, and when there's wind, everything. And I think many people could also agree with me on this. It's scary. When you fall once, it sits with you. And I think um, we need like you guys that mentioned, you need those people that'll support you, those people that'll sit at those tables and will support you and challenge you rather than talk about you or belittle you or make fun of you. We all need those people. And this year I've been doing that and finding that fun and jumping again. In Houston I conquered that, Rock Hill I conquered that, and I'm ready to see how I can do in Tulsa.
There you go. So you're gonna be there. What is it, like 2 weeks from now, or is it next week?
Yes, I leave next Monday, not this Monday, but the following Monday, the first.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you do clinics along the way there, or do you just fly out and handle your business?
I fly there, but I do clinics at home.
Okay.
And then this year I'll be starting to do more clinics on the East Coast for that matter.
Okay.
Which I'm really excited for.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shannon?
Yeah, I see more people bringing, like, this is going back to the mental health. I've seen more people bringing that, like, to light in BMX. Is that like maybe a role that you would play later on to maybe like, show some support to some of the kids that are coming up, because everybody's dealing with something.
Oh, I
And,
would love to.
and they could relate to you, especially as like a female, little girls, even little boys, I'm being inspired just right now, just talking to you,
No doubt.
and I'm sure, that's a role you could possibly play later on,
Last year I had two themes that I've carried on with me from last year. My bike was autism themed for my nephew who is nonverbal, just to consistently spread awareness, because you go in public and people judge if he has a tantrum, or they look at people, just like get your child when they don't, understand that community or that side for that matter. They have no experience, which is understandable, but And then I also carried mental health. I have a shirt of mine, like the shirt that I made for Grands last year. It has a green ribbon, which just stands for mental health. For those who struggle with anxiety, depression, like me, or that have bipolar disorder for that matter, just let them know that they're never alone, because so many people don't understand how much you want to say what's in here, but you can't, or what's in here, you can't let it out for that matter. But we need people to be willing to sit with us and support us.
I mean, how much do you think hopping on your bike and hitting the track helps, doing sprints and just exercising?
Oh my gosh, tremendous amount. We all need that little escape, whether that's BMX, golfing, baseball, basketball.
Yeah, I agree.
So, okay, so another thing that I like to throw little things out there. So you said you're known for jumping, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to pay you for some sessions, are you telling me you can get me to jump some things?
I could get you to jump in one session.
What? Well, I landed though. I guess I should ask that part. Will I land it?
Will you land it? Oh, you might come up like case it your first few times, but I promise you, we'll get you there. See, that's one of my favorite things with children. Like, but we can start anywhere you want.
So let me ask you this. I'm starting to get faster. I just got back into the sport. I'm getting faster. I'm racing some faster guys. I can't manual. I'm not saying I can't manual. I haven't really even tried the manual. I don't jump. Somebody told me to watch the little girls that are like 12 and 13, because they just roll everything. They're super fast, but they don't jump or manual yet. So that's kind of what I'm watching, the little girls, and kind of like mimicking them.
Do you race flat pedals?
I do now, because I jumped in the clips and I was definitely faster on clips, but the skill level wasn't there yet. So I went, and then I broke my ankle at Grands. So I was kind of forced to go back in the flats. I can't clip in yet. What
you can do, if you do have like a stationary like roller, like a bike stand? Yeah. So you can set yourself up in that, and set yourself up and can like try and manual, like, put yourself in that body position and learn how to hold yourself. Mm-hmm. If you feel like you're going to lean, like if you're going to loop out, tap your brake and you can lean forward, just like on the track. Yeah. But if you feel like you're going to drop it, kind of lean back a little bit more. And it's all about your core and your legs when you're holding that. You can hold your arms like this. It's all about your core and your legs for that matter, where you're kind of guiding it, and your body positioning where you're at. Just like on the track for that matter, if you're doing a double, when you're setting yourself up, you want to like kind of crouch in, and when you're getting ready to go through that double, you're going to extend those legs and push through. But just like always keep that finger on the brake in case you feel like you're going to loop out.
And so you said you're a smaller rider also, right?
Oh yeah, I'm 5'1".
I'm 5'8", for a guy. I'm 5'8", 135 pounds. I'm the smallest guy in the gate almost at every race, How do I make up for that? Like, do I have to, do you ride differently? Do you exercise differently? Do you, how do you win against these bigger people? Some of these guys are just so big, they just lean over their bars and just coast. And here I am pedaling my ass off and I can't catch them. They're just naturally stronger. They're just, I feel like all right, let me ask you another question. No, I mean, this is shit I need to know, bro. Do you do running sprints?
I run on the treadmill sometimes, but I don't do running sprints. Like for a warm-up, I like sometimes do like a half mile or a mile, but not running.
Okay.
You won't catch me running.
Okay. I was just wondering, would that help, because I don't mind running and I would like to start running again.
So for me, being smaller, I use my aggression the most. I have to be aggressive. I'm 5'1". A lot of them are probably 5'5" taller. You have to be willing to put yourself in small places, get in where you can fit in. It's like one of the favorite lines. But outside of that, you just have to be, as long as you have this much of your like bar in front of them, you got to understand that you're in control. You can guide yourself. You can guide where you go. But training wise, I do a lot of sprints, but I do a lot of like longer sprints. So we've been doing coast sprints. So I sprint for 30, coast, or I sprint for 60, coast 30, sprint for 90. So like kind of repeat like the first jump to the next jump for that matter.
Okay.
But doing those will kind of get your top end speed. You want to have a lot of track speed and top end speed. You can get out of the gate fast for that matter, but if you can't hold on to your track speed or top end speed, they're going to slowly creep up on you. And that's something you have to learn after that. Like once you get your gait and form down, you can do those full laps or you can do those half laps. I do a lot of half laps. Just last week we had to do probably like 14 half laps in total. But those are things you can do to gain that endurance for that matter. You don't always have to do, you can do one full lap per session, but you don't have to kill yourself and do multiple each session you go.
And I'm still healing from this injury, but I am still racing. So I broke my right ankle and that's my dominant foot. That's, I tried to switch and start with my left foot. It's just not, it just feels weird. I keep hearing that second and third pedal is the most important anyway. I could pretty much crap away the first pedal. But when the starting hill is not that steep, I have a problem getting out the gate with the other guys. That first pedal is just not there anymore. I used to be able to get out the gate. Now it's a problem, so I don't even want to put too much pressure down on that first pedal because then it's going to bother me for the rest of the day, sometimes. Would you suggest trying to start with the left foot or just keep crapping away that first pedal and get on the second and third?
You could always, like, if you have timers, you can see which one would be faster for that matter. Start with your left and see if you can get that second and third pedal faster with the left.
Okay.
Outside of that, you can always do just flat ground, flat pedal sprints to learn how to develop and get that first pedal stronger. That's and then in the gym too, you can do like a lot of like single leg stuff. Okay. Just to get that right foot strong or that right leg stronger. And just doing a lot of explosiveness. So you could do a lot of plyos, single leg plyos. You could do single leg Romanian deadlifts, just something for that matter to get that right leg stronger if you don't want or don't choose to do that left leg.
Got you. All right.
Or you can also just admit that you're old and it's just going to be what it is.
Me too. It's okay.
I came to that already, bro. I'm there. Don't worry.
So what gear are you running?
Right now I'm on a 44-16. Okay. Yeah. I believe it's a 54, just above 54 rollout. Yeah.
So what size cranks are you running?
170.
And
1.5 tire.
on front and back. Oh yeah. Okay.
Have you thought? Have you thought about running smaller cranks since you're shorter?
I ran 165s last year, and now the only thing or reason why I shifted into 170s is because this year is a lot more supercross hill, and 170 cranks gives me a lot more torque coming down that hill, a lot more power.
Right.
So as long as I can be able to spin with those cranks, and not make it look like I'm swinging too far to side with my hips, and hold that power, it's felt a lot better within the last few races.
Nice.
So
Who are your current sponsors?
So right now I race for Time to Shine, which they are out of West Virginia or Virginia. They're all over. But I also race for Carbone Cartel, which is my rim sponsor. And those are the main two sponsors outside of Fly, but Time to Shine because they are a bike shop.
So how were you able to put your orca together for the autism? That was something that they helped you out with, or is it something you just did on your own?
So last year I was racing for Bomb Show. I raced for Bomb Show from when I reclassed in 2021 to the end of 2022.
Okay.
So Dave and I had that autism bike planned out, and then by the end, when I decided to leave, I wanted that bike to have meaning and go to somebody, to just support the cause, or somebody who would enjoy that bike as much as I did.
Right.
And so I asked him if I could. No, he was heartfelt to it too. So it was like both an attachment for both of us. So he necessarily didn't want to, but at the end we both realized that this would probably be the best thing. So that way we could see it still on the track, and not just hung up or something for that matter.
Right.
But Dave did a lot for me with that stuff, like the autism for that matter. Helped me anything if I wanted to have like a little fundraiser or something. Dave was always for that when it came to terms.
So what frame are you riding with now?
I ride a Rift right now, which is a pro, and I run the Shimano Saint cranks, Carbone rims, Onyx hubs, box disc brake. I run the Tangent flat iron bars and the new Tangent fork.
Okay.
So your new frame is not carbon, correct?
No, it's an aluminum frame this year.
So you came from a carbon frame to aluminum. How do you like it?
Actually, that's what my main concern was, because of the fact of how strong the carbon is out of the gate. It does not allow you to go back. But actually the Rift, it's really fast out of the gate. I don't actually feel any difference outside of the turns. So with the Orca sat an inch lower with the bottom bracket than a Rift.
Really?
So yeah, so you can carve a lot lower with an Orca than you can with any other bike, just like a Daylight. So that was the only thing different for that matter. So I have to learn how to like carve more now this year. But outside of that, I think they're both really good frames.
Wait, so this is new to me. So you want the bottom bracket to be lower to the ground?
For girls, in a sense, bottom brackets the lower bottom brackets are better for women.
Okay.
But in turn wise, yes, like cool. In the turns, I would have liked that. That was nice to have it. But unfortunately, sometimes when you were so low, you would clip the turn.
Because I was going to say that was my issue. I run the OS20, and to me, I'm like, get it up higher. I need it higher.
Yep.
Ground. I don't want to touch nothing.
Well, it was nice to go low, like when you wanted to go under somebody, but just outside of that, you were always putting yourself in that risk of to clip that pedal. But outside of that, the bike was amazing.
Nice. Shannon,
do you ever pedal around like the whole berm? I just see everybody coasting now. It seems like, they'll hit the berm, couple of pedals in, they coast around, couple of pedals out, and then they're gone. Once in a while, I'll see somebody pedaling around the whole berm. I'm just wondering why people don't do that more. Just because they don't want to clip the pedals, or?
No, because sometimes it's just faster to hold your speed by carving.
Okay.
Sometimes the excess pedals have no use or value. So it's so in bigger turns, it's good to like grab a few pedals in, carve, and then start exiting out as fast as you can. So just like Louisville, Rock Hill, the bigger turns, you can grab a few pedals in, and then as soon as you see that exit, start pedaling out. But outside of that, I think just for little kids, for that matter, if they're trying to get around somebody, they pedal around the whole turn. But I think just holding your speed in that with that car would be better.
We're gonna see you at Music City.
Yes, that's my favorite race.
I was gonna
So
say
do
the
you
one
run
that
this?
what?
Do you run the same gear at all the tracks? Do you just keep that same gear?
No, it just
Okay.
depends. It varies. So Vegas, I would run like a 3914, which is in a sense the same rollout as a like a 4416 around a 54. But if you think about it, you take a smaller cap, it takes you this fast to get around rather than the same thing that takes your, I don't know if that makes sense, your rotation. So your your pedal rotations. Although it's the same rollout, it's going to take me this much faster to turn over that 3914 comparison to that 4416. So at Vegas, you would want that so that you get on that sprint faster. For bigger tracks, I would run like the 44.216 or 47.17. And then just for like South Park, like flat tracks, I would run a 42.15. Just something in between all like a 54-55 range, but different sizes.
I've never heard that before. I've never heard anybody. Yeah. Wow. That's
So it
thank
sounds like you change your gears pretty much at almost every track. You just know what you're gonna use.
Lately this year I've been keeping the same track because they are Supercross.
Mhm.
And that's just like going up either like a decimal fraction for that matter. And it usually is around the 44.16 or 45.16. And then but Nashville it will go down just so that way I can get the sprint faster.
When you fly out to the to Tulsa, do you do the DK golf bag thing, or how do you bring your bike?
I have a Odyssey. I have an Odyssey bike bag. And then I just take the whole front end off. And then I tuck the whole front end underneath the front end of the frame in the bag. And then I have an Okendo pad that wraps around the whole frame. So that way you don't have to put all that excess foam pad in there. So I try to not make it around 42 pounds.
Okay. So if it's under that, does it mean you get to carry it on? Like I'm trying to figure this out.
So Southwest is like a lot of, or is the airline a lot of BMXers fly because they allow you to get 2 bags. So you get 2 free bags checked like underneath the plane they have to be 50 pounds or less.
Okay.
So if that bike bag is 50 pounds or less, it's free. Then you can have like your whole duffel bag, you go underneath the plane, and then all you have to carry is your helmet bag when you go through the airport. Yes. But sometimes Southwest will catch you and you'll get in trouble.
Yeah. Have you ever now it'd be a fear for me, but have you ever gotten to a spot and your bike didn't make it there yet?
Yes. I went to Orlando in 2013 or 2014. It didn't get there until after the first race or after the first moto. So I had a race. Yeah.
So do
I
you
raced
normally, I was gonna say, do you normally bring extra parts or extra bike? Does your team have extra stuff? Because I've seen people blow out rims, getting spokes ripped out, and they had to like use a whole different bike, maybe, or maybe just a wheel, which is not that big of a deal. But would you bring like a whole setup, like a whole other bike with you?
I usually bring like a back wheel, like an
Okay.
extra back wheel for that matter, just in case something happens on the big hill.
Okay.
Come up short. No, or just crash for that matter. If something happens, I usually bring an extra wheel set.
Nice, smart.
I feel like that's the most like the hardest thing to replace in that moment outside your frame.
What's your favorite food?
Favorite food? Mexican.
There it is.
Yeah. Anything tacos, burritos.
So what is your
Big
favorite
fan
thing?
of chicken.
What's your favorite thing to do outside of BMX?
I love to go fishing with my dad.
Okay.
I love to hike. Anything pretty much outdoors. I'm a coffee fanatic, connoisseur. I would like to own my own coffee shop. And
Okay.
that's probably what I do most on my free time, is go to a coffee shop and read.
Well, we need good coffee at the BMX tracks. Let me tell you, there was a national and a coffee truck pulled up and there was like 30 people in line. I mean, more people in this line than any other line. And everybody that I asked how the coffee was, they would tell me that it was absolutely terrible, but that was all they had. And you know, when you want coffee, you'll take it. It's like, whatever, I don't care. I'm just going to sit online and get this terrible coffee because that's all they got.
And
But that,
on a side
Well-
note, today's show is sponsored by said coffee truck. No,
Well, I know that Yee Coffee Co. is like a coffee company from or Florida that's like now developing. They're always at like the Florida State Series. But once I open my coffee shop, it's going to be called Buzz with Buds. Sounds really stupid. Yes, I know. But however way you look at it, you're going to get a caffeine buzz with your dogs or your friends. And then eventually
cool.
it'll be a coffee shop that turns into a bar.
nice.
So, you know, that's why Buzz with Buds. Whatever way you look at it, you're going to get some sort of buzz with your buds.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I like that.
That's dope. That's dope. So it sounds like you already got a plan for this thing.
This has
Alright.
been in the works. It was in the works with Dave. Dave from Bombshell.
Okay.
He wanted to open the own coffee shop with me. And then so that's where the name came from.
That's
That's
cool.
pretty cool.
So all right, so me and Everett, after this, we're running over to a track and we're gonna ride today, right? When you show up to, like, usually I show up to a track, I just hit a couple of gates, couple of straights, half-ass laps, half laps. I don't really have a plan. Like I really don't. You know, can you put a plan together for us real quick so when we hit this track later, we know what the hell we're doing? Like, you know,
Yes.
would you suggest doing a certain amount of gates, a certain amount of straights, a certain amount of, you know, full laps?
Are you up for stretching first or?
We have to stretch. We're old. We
At our
have
age,
to.
yes.
Okay. So yes, so your first 10 or 15, 20 minutes you need to stretch, you know, warm up for that matter. Outside of that, you can do a pyramid scheme. So you could do like you could work from the last straightaway. You could do you could do 4 last straights, then you can do 4 third straights, then 4 second straights, then 4 first straights. Then if you would like to combine some of them, do a first and second, do a second and third, and a third and fourth. So you do 3 half laps right there, plus you're doing how many of your first straights or how many other straightaways you would like. Just try and keep keep a good pace, but don't overwork yourself, especially today. This is like, you know, you're starting a program. Don't overwork yourself on the first day because then you're not going to have motivation for the next few days.
Right.
So how much time in between these laps should we take?
If for the warm-up ones, you can do like 2 to 3 minutes. And those half laps, you can do 3 to 5 breaks.
Okay.
Catch yourself, get some water. Just keep it, you know, don't kill yourself, but make sure you're putting in the work.
And what about gates? How many gates do you suggest doing?
I would do 12 to 15.
Okay.
And that it could be to gate to 30 foot. You know, but if you want to do like gate to first turn, you could do 8 to 10 first straights.
Okay. And would you do those all in a row? Would you mix those up with like doing some of your second and third straights or?
So I normally have like an order that I have to go in.
Okay.
So it'll start for me. I have to do my like warm up, my stretching, and then I'll have to do like a pump lap, and then I'll have to do like a lap with like skills, like I have the manual, and then on the third lap I have to jump something, and then when I go into training, I have to do like that pyramid. But each time I do that straight away, I have to do something different in the line. What does that mean? Manual, different jump, pedal somewhere else, jump something. But each line has to be different. So when it comes to racing, if you're put in a different position, you can go through it.
Got you.
Okay.
Also, would you suggest training with somebody else on the track with you or a few guys?
Oh yes, the more the better. I mean, if you can find a good group of people that pushes you each time, like I said, like doesn't make fun of you, it makes you feel like, you know, you're at home, comfortable, and every time that you step foot on that track, they don't like belittle you.
Yeah.
Those are the people you need every time. The more the better, and that you only get better by pushing yourself with other people. When you're by yourself, it's hard because you don't have that motivation, or, you know, like you have to be so self-driven, and it's capable. Everybody can do it, but it is always nice to have someone else there.
When you first started racing, how fast did you move up from novice to expert?
So my first year, I only raced 3 races. So And my second race is the Grands where I made semis, but okay, I would say probably in 2009, 2008, 2009 was when I first started like advancing, because I started racing the boys at my state qualifiers instead of the girls, because there were no females in Michigan ever. We've only ever had, when I was first started racing, we had 2 wrecks of females, but now we only have probably like 3 total points in general. And so I was always put with the guys, and the guys would always take me out and crash me. But I think there was that, like, when I started, I transferred from girls to expert, just learning how to race and battle with them, and gaining more strategy than just racing.
All right, so do you run tangent carbon forks on your bike? I
Yeah.
thought I saw those. When
Yes.
are we able to get those things? I don't see them anywhere. I see them on a few bikes, and I'm like, hold on, where are they getting these from? They're not available for sale to the public.
I believe that I thought they were on Tangent. Are they not?
I looked everywhere, and I did not see.
Time to Shine. You can check Time to Shine as well.
I just don't see anybody with them, and I hear people talking about them, but I've only seen a few pro women for that with them.
They're really nice. They're really nice, for that matter.
I know they are. I don't want a pair.
Sorry.
I was like, oh God. But
well, who's given you the most trouble on the track, and since you've been pro? Who's the one that's like, that's the one I'm tracking this person down in my head? She beats me more times than I can get her, but I'm right there.
Myself.
Nice.
Myself.
Yeah.
As bad as that sounds, like, a lot of times I get inconsistent with myself and understanding where I can be. There are good laps, bad laps. But if I were to pick a single specific, like, person, or can I pick a group of people? Like,
sure.
2 people?
Yeah, definitely.
Skittles has always been a good battle of mine. It's always back and forth sometimes. She's very, very aggressive. We're both very small. She's very talented. Outside of that, yeah, I think I'm gonna say Skittles the most.
Okay.
Of everybody, just because I like how much she's driven as well. You know, coming up from being the smallest people in your class, you have to put in a lot of work, and so, you know, I think she's a good racer, and every time we get into the gate, it's very well.
So do you know how tall she is?
5'4". She's taller than me.
Because when I saw her at Grants, and I didn't realize she was that short, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my
she's a
God,
little
that
bit taller than
Skittles.
me.
You walk by, and I was like, oh, she's tiny, man, but she's so
Yes.
freaking fast.
She's very fast. She's very good too. But no, I think, or Brookcraft is a good battle as well.
Have you raced?
But I'd like to try and be up this year where, like, Elise and them are at this year.
No doubt, you could definitely do that. Oh,
Thank you. Yeah.
Have you raced outside the U.S.?
Canada. I've only the U.S., Canada, but they're just like the USA BMX races in Milton, Ontario. But outside of that, no. This year, I'm supposed to be going to Argentina for the World Cup, though.
Thanks.
Let me ask you back to your bike. What size frame do you ride?
Very small. I run a Pro, which is a 20.5, I think, on the Rift.
Okay.
And everything's like slammed forward.
Okay.
I run a 6-inch rise bar. I run a tangent top load, but flipped. Like, so it's upside down.
Really, man?
Yeah.
So are you riding? Are you riding Are those cruiser bars or like expert bars or something? Or do they make pro bars 6-inch?
Tangent makes a 6.5 flat iron.
Do they?
Actually, it's a 6.5. Yeah. Answer makes a 6 as well. But yeah, so it's such a small bike
with a flip stem. Yo, you're tripping me out right now.
Wow. No spacers in between the headset and the stem as well.
So you do your own maintenance?
Yes.
Is it a trust thing, or is it just more like you just always have done it?
I used to have my best friend do all of my mechanics for me because it was superstition, and he was the only person that I trusted. But when I went to Bombshell and I started became a bike builder, I started learning everything, and from there, I just wanted to like learn and do my own thing for my bike, so that way I couldn't blame anybody. If something happened, it was my fault.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got down with Bombshell and they put you to work?
Yeah.
You gotta work for this, bro.
It's like, well,
That's so cool though. You know,
right.
yeah, that's so awesome. I think everybody should be able to work on their own bikes, and a lot of them don't. A lot of people do not work on their own bikes. They don't know one thing about their bikes. It blows my
You'd be
mind.
very surprised on how many pro athletes or pro BMX riders have no idea how to work on their bike at all.
I can't complain. I'm in the same boat.
You're not a pro rider,
I know
bro.
what I built. I know what I built, and I know when I tear it down and put it back together, I'm like, where'd this come from? And then I got to take it apart and put it back in. And then the second time, I'm like, well, where'd this one come from? I got the other one, but now I got this extra part. Like,
that's how I feel disc brake right now. Like disc brakes right now, I have no idea. I'm so lost.
I love them though. Like I switched to disc, and now that I got them working, I love them. Only thing I can say is like, especially with the weather, because for some reason it's like, oh, there's a national. Awesome. Cue the rain. It's been beautiful all week, but cue the rain for the weekend. And I know with the disc brakes, you're gonna stop versus when when I had just the regular the other brakes, I wouldn't stop at all, especially with the carbon wheels. Like I was just like, I tap them and all of a sudden I'm just like, shh, we're going right past everybody at the finish line. Like, watch out. Coming in hot.
The noise of like a carbon pad on the rims. I used to deal with that all the time, especially when it's raining.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So it sounds like you're very well organized with everything. What is our goal for this year? Are we trying to make top 10? Have you set some goals for this year?
Yes. Yeah. So I would like to make A mains this year. That's my goal. Last year I've made a few A mains, but last year I was like more consistent in B mains. I'd like to be consistent in A mains this year. Outside of that, I want to show more for myself. And there's like more, there's a quote, it's more of you, less of them, more of who you want to be, less of who everybody else wants you to be. I think that's my goal of finding myself in my writing, and being exactly who I know I'm capable of being on my bike this year, and not have the worry of what anybody else may say about me in that process.
Right. Have you ever thought about like writing a book of your journal, of your stories?
Oh, no. No.
Oh no, I'm not putting that out there. I mean, because sometimes it's just one of those things where whether you release it or not, one of those things to write down is just release it and then get rid of it, forget it, or keep it and move with it. Sometimes it's just
I know that there's a lot of racers that have reached out to me about in regards to my story, because they said like everything that I have said is exactly what they feel, but they didn't know how to say that as well.
Right.
So it's been in consideration. I love writing. Right. I do journal, but I also don't accurately know how to describe what I feel still, if that makes sense. Right. So I think if I figure that out, it'd be nice.
What do you have a fruit that you take with you? Like you have a specific oranges, apples, bananas when you go to national? Are you one of those people that has to line
strawberry up? Or blueberries?
Okay. Shannon, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, for when you wake up the weekend of a national, just say Friday, you're gonna race Friday night. What do you eat? Like when you wake up, what's the first thing you put in your body? Yeah.
First thing, just water, and then I'll get up and I'll it's like my go-to. I make 2 eggs, and then I mix kale or spinach, and I mix peppers, and then I'll have like avocado toast on the side.
Okay.
But that's just like something light, and that's not gonna make me want to throw up after the first lap.
And then that's it throughout the day, pretty much, or do you snack on anything?
sadly, it's very hard for me to eat during the race because my nerves are so high, my anxiety is so high. But when I do eat, I usually eat like peanut butter sandwiches, peanut butter, banana, rice cakes with bananas, something just light and small. And then just keep up on Gatorade and water throughout the race.
I mean, do you feel like there's ever going to be a time that you line up on the gate with these other girls and freaking not be nervous?
No.
I mean, is there anybody like that in BMX? Like everybody gets nervous on the gate, I would think, right?
I would think so. And I don't think it's so much nerves of like, everybody there around you. I think it's so much of like you and that moment. It's really scary. But there's some girls that just go out there and they have no fear. So, one of my old teammates, Manuela Munoz, one of the fastest, one of the most driven riders I've ever met in my entire life. That girl has no fear when it comes to, that's one person you could ask her, one person who doesn't have a lot of fear when it comes to that Supercross hill. She's always willing to put herself in the middle. If there's somebody you would like to watch that's upcoming, Manuela Munoz.
And how old is she? She's what, 13 or something like that?
No, she just turned 17.
Okay.
She just turned 17 last year.
Okay.
I'm thinking of Palacios, I think, or
yes, I think you're on Bay Area.
Guadalupe, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But
so
no.
She's running 1720X.
Yep, she's 1720, but she also races junior women and in Rock Hill or I think Houston, she picked up her first win, or Rock Hill may have been. But she's something amazing to watch.
What is your favorite gate to come out of?
3 or 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gate 1, especially if you're next to somebody fast, you have to be consistent on getting out. So fortunately for me, sometimes my gate's not the most consistent. So you can get cut off pretty fast. But if you can hold it, like, after 30 foot, I can start driving. So like that'd be a nice place, like after I'm in gate 3 and I can cut them off. But outside of that, I don't know. Just being in the middle, it's also, I don't know. Just, it's weird too, because I like, even racing in the rain, I'll put myself in the middle, stuff like that. I've always chose gate 3 and 5. But I think probably because NBL, my favorite gates were the 365 or 517.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have a gate? Do you have a practice gate at home that you use?
Yes, I actually just received one from my best friend Nick. He used to be an elite this year or last year, and just decided he wanted to have fun and race BMX, and he ended up giving his gate to me so I could start training and racing more. And I did just buy a set of timers.
Okay.
So yeah, having that stuff at home is very nice when there's no one else to train or pretty bad outside.
Right.
Got you.
One of the things I was going to ask too is what's your current race number?
227.
And is that because that used to be your favorite TV show, or sorry, that's an old people's joke. You probably don't even know the show.
No. When I first started racing in NBL, my number was 206. So I always wanted that number. But when I quit racing BMX and reclass, the first number that the membership number that they give you that ended in 227. So when I came back into racing and I went to Paris, like Grand Prix in California, I practiced for the first time with 227, and people asked if I was from a different country because I had a 3-digit number. So in a sense, it was just funny to me. It's like, this is really funny. So I was like, I'm just going to keep it, and it was also like a rebirth moment. I came back. So that number has meaning to me. It's like, one era, it may have ended, but this one is new. Yeah.
Do you know can you use that number like as an amateur? Somebody told me that you can use that number forever.
Yes, so that's your number that you get when your membership number when you first sign up.
Yeah.
So you have like that long digit number, and at the end of those 3 numbers are that number.
Yeah. So
you could use it as an amateur.
That's what I thought. So if I wanted to use that number right now, I could.
For you per se, I don't think so, because you have to go if you have district, state if you have a plate for that matter, you have to run that plate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody told me I could use that number forever, and I'm like, okay. I just never did whatever. I just used my district number.
Could be.
Okay. I was just wondering if you knew anything about it. That's all.
Something I could also I also could be educated on, because I don't know for that matter.
Got you.
Nice. Well, you got anything else, Shannon?
Nah, I think we gotta wrap it up so we could go hit this track and do what she told us to do and see if we get any faster.
Oh wait, I had 2 more quick questions. So I'm always
Sorry.
about this. Actually, I got 3.
That's
One,
all.
what's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
Mhm.
The Water Boy.
No, not Bobby Boucher.
Can we cut that right there?
So it's one of those movies that no matter when it's on, you're gonna watch it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Water Boy, The Blind Side, those are 2 best movies. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, mine is Major Pain. So I'm like, it's one of those movies where
God.
when it's on, I'm watching it. Like, and it's not even a great movie to me, but it makes me laugh every time I watch it. So I'll
Yes.
watch it. 2, do you believe in ghosts?
Yes. Yes. Frankly, because my dad's growing up watches those paranormal activities shows, ghost hunters.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I also do believe that there are spirits.
Okay. Did you play any other sports growing up?
I used to do gymnastics. I did cheerleading for a day. I did track one day specifically. I did track and field, and I played basketball. I was a point guard. Believe that or not.
Nice.
And then just on the side, I used to play floor hockey.
Okay.
But I was never on the teams. I would just show up to the practices and play with them for fun.
Oh,
but yeah.
Dope. Okay.
Oh,
so
and
you're
bowling.
You're very active though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Thank
Do you
you.
have any hidden talents? Do you play an instrument or?
Hidden talents.
That people don't know about you?
I don't know. I can cook some mean food. Maybe that's what it is.
There it is.
Or I can cook you up. Or I can make a good coffee. So
we're gonna hold you to that one.
that's okay. You let me know, and I'll have a coffee ready for you.
Yeah, I guess that was it. Those are the questions that I had for you right there. And Shannon says we are good. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
It's been awesome, and we will see you at Music City. I believe is that what the next one we're going to, Shannon?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, and we'll see you
Awesome.
at Music City. Thank you very much.
We'll make sure we find you.
Yes, please. Anything that you guys ever may need, or anything I can help in regards to something, please just reach out and always let me know. Okay.
Indeed, I appreciate it.
Tangent carbon forks.
Anyway. Hey, I can see what I can do.
Good luck. If we don't see you, good luck. Not this weekend, but at Music City.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. And you guys have a great day. Okay. Be safe.
You too. All right. Bye.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.